Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jason, the creator of I Am Legion for Dying Light 1 and 2, and tonight I will be working on 0.9. Earlier this week I was working on bug fixes, so I didn't actually end up releasing the actual video. Well, it's on the Twitch stream, but I didn't actually end up porting it over to the actual YouTube channel, as it was mainly broken up into two videos and it was looking at bugs specific, so it's kind of boring stuff. It was kind of ruling out what it could be, and I ended up narrowing down what it actually turned out to be. But overall, not much of a learning experience other than how to solve for a bug in your code and kind of process that I was trial and erroring. So if you're interested in that video, make sure to check out the Twitch live stream and just look at the archive there. It should be in there as 0.9 development and bug fixes. So this will be officially 0.9 development, and I'm going to be looking at a couple of new features tonight and opening up our new folder for the next stage of I Am Legion 0.9. So I'm also sharing out on Discord. If you have any specific questions, please make sure to jump on the Discord. And I always love questions while I'm working. So thank you guys. And go ahead and make 0.9. It's going to be our feature branch. And I'm going to call this one Logical Retreat. One of the things that I've been looking at overall is the AI systems, and I noticed that when the enemy AI turns around to run away from the player, the AI system that it's currently using acts pretty weird. So they kind of run in a specific direction and then they eventually die, or they just kind of cease to do anything. So I'm going to be looking at two things. I'm going to be looking at the concept of uh, retreating bandit, or not bandits, yes, actually bandits, volatiles, and virals. And then also one of the cool things that I was going to look into, that I thought was a really fun suggestion from one of the members on the Discord board, was this idea of looking at if a human AI dies, turning it into a viral. I really like this idea, and I think I know how to do it. And so I'm going to try to look at both those things tonight. I think they're both in the same location, and so we'll just kind of see how far I'm able to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and try to focus, and as I'm getting questions on the Discord, I will try to be answering people's questions there. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully we find some interesting stuff tonight. So first I'm going to get my mod set up to where we are looking at the extracted files and we are looking at current files. I'm also going to go, and so we've definitely seen where they've hinted at new updates for Dying Light 2. Those have not come out, so I just want to confirm that before doing all the work. And so the first one is this concept of retreating or fleeing. So I'm going to turn over to Sublime really quick and try to do some searches here and see if I can find any values that have to do with the actual retreat system. So let's go in here and say, so instead of saying retreat, let's say something like flee. There's a fleece. Okay, there we go. So we have a flee position. We have a flee distance. We'll also pull open our everything browser here for this in, and let's type in flee. Request panic flee behavior. Embedded object. Interesting. Let's see what that is. Can panic flee enable and disable. Okay. And this is found under the logic in the embedded objects file. Okay, let's see if we can figure out if anything is calling those. So first let's head over to the presets, logic, embedded objects. Okay, they've made it pretty easy for us here. So they have AI request, the requested objects, request panic flee enable. So they have AI requests here. So I've never actually seen this value called before. So let's put a pin in the flee thing because it looks like that was right on the money. So we do have a flee concept here. Make sure nobody is popping into the server here. Okay, so we do have the concept of a flee. And then down here we've got our AI populations where here's our AI requests. So they have agenda logic that's firing spawn survivors, AI request, enable panic flee. Interesting. Then they have this test where they're exporting a string that says panic flee. I do know that one of the big ones is that the survivors um, they definitely run a lot. So they, if they're fighting and something happens, they'll turn pretty quickly and run away. Ooh, I shouldn't have seen this one. So actually, this is kind of a fun note. So most of their code that they have from E3, for any of you guys watching, is called hands off. So they actually have like quite a few of these hands off scripts that I don't know if it's because they didn't get a chance to finish them or what the problem was, but they even have like the water fountain effect, which is interesting because I did notice that I've seen code in here where the water fountains are supposed to start working. I'm guessing as part of the storyline. And then I think some of this code is just outdated. Like there's no such thing as Biter04 anymore. Yeah, Biter4. So I think some of this stuff is just kind of useless code. But I wanted to look at that really quick while this is continuing to scrub everything. So we have this idea of two logic files that are calling enable panic flee. And so basically, if I wanted to go in here and just make immediate, if I just wanted to hack it kind of thing, if I wanted to go in here and make these guys not be able to run away, then it looks like all I have to do is turn off that field of enable and disable. Like I'm pretty sure all I have to do is set both to 0, and that would cause them to stop their current behavior. Now, I don't want to do that because what I do want to kind of change, like for example, the human AI, they should know when they're outnumbered. They should know like, okay, I'm completely outnumbered here. I should get going. In the vanilla game, they are the most deadly thing out there. And so because of that, they're oh, look at that. Um because they're the most dangerous ones out there, they don't really run away from the zombies. But potentially if I could write in the ability for them to size up the size of the enemy group, then potentially you could play on this idea of like, okay, so they see 5 or more enemies, then they flee, or at least they climb up top. I would really like to play on this idea of I would really like to play on this idea that if they saw like 5 or more enemies, that you could immediately make them climb up like one level. So if you were playing um, if you were playing casual survivor, for instance, if they weren't able to climb, if the undead weren't able to climb, then you could play on this idea of like, okay, they've discovered that they're outnumbered, so they just go up a level. And if they go up a level, they're more likely to be able to hold the enemy forces off. So the code that I put together for the Banshee that sends the Banshee up could be used here potentially to say, okay, instead of panic fleeing, or maybe even that, maybe we say, okay, instead of the humans panic fleeing and just running off into the foreseeable future, maybe I can reroute the human AI to say, okay, flee up so that they then just stand higher. Um, because then potentially that would kind of hold off this idea of like you set that to a cooldown timer or something like that, to where potentially then you would have to tell the enemy AI on the ground to disperse or something like that, because otherwise they're then gonna climb back down. So maybe sending them up all the way to the top of the roofs, like sending them up all the way to the top, would allow you to end up with bandits up on the rooftops without having them spawning on the rooftops, which would make them more unique because they would be climbing up from different locations. So now you have bandits that are up on the rooftops while you have biters down on the ground, which I really like. But again, this would have to be based off the idea that, okay, there's more than 5, so therefore they go do that. Otherwise, it would be based on this idea that, you know, otherwise it wouldn't fire. So if it didn't fire, then they would continue to do whatever they were doing previously on the ground. So let's look at this code a little bit more and see what exactly they've revealed and what exactly we can get away with. So here's like the encounter bandits. So we open this up, type in flee. It's right here at the top. And basically choosing these behavior places, choosing for the black market. And so this is just basically like a go hide script here that's just saying like, if this triggers, go hide. Interesting. But it looks like some of this is all hooked up to test bandits. And that's what I was actually wondering about, because there's a lot of these prefab files that are not actually working anymore from what I was seeing. So they're basically already in the scene, or they're already baked into the map kind of thing. And so I don't know if all of these are actually being injected at runtime. So let's try a couple of different things. So let's go back really quick to this flee position idea here. So we have human retreat. So let's go look that up first. So this is going to be in our extracted. I've added a couple of files here. This is going to be our behavior tree. We now have our humans. We have our retreat. And basically, let's pull this up really quick and just look here. Last man standing panic. So potentially, so if a group member has died recently, oh, that's really interesting. Let's look that up because there's a lot of stuff that could be done with that concept. Has a group member died recently? Because they're also basically saying, okay, if a group member has died, start being smarter, kind of thing, which is also pretty fun. Let's see if that finds anything else. So it says if a group member has died recently within, I guess, 0.5 of a second, or that could be half of a minute. Not really sure their time scale there. Are other group members alive? Member count. So it's counting the number. It's saying, okay, if one member is left, the part I was just looking at is this panic evaluated. Panic last probability. So there's on a randomizer, it's now calling to the probability. It's then saying perform an operation, should flee, which is interesting because it has the random probability, but I feel like I'm still learning a little bit of how they're setting up their XML code. And I feel like if they were doing this probability, then this would actually be like, this would look at the probability and then say based on the probability. Maybe I'm just missing that. Maybe it's, yeah, so it's not being called anywhere else. So I wonder if this is actually working right now. We'll have to keep reading here. So it's then saying they should flee, set it to true. Condition combat target in radius. So if you're in their target radius, get out of there. Is combat target in radius. And so another thing I've been looking at is who's the combat target. And I want to see if I can switch minimum members count. That's one of the things I've been trying to look at is, so like minimum members count. Like what is running that code? I really wish I could just easily pluck out where that code is listed, because somewhere it's receiving this value, minimum members count. I wish I could find like a directory that says these are all the things that you can do, because and essentially I need to just start creating a whole list of conditions. The problem with that is so like that only exists for humans. Glad I started with panic instead of retreat, because I'm guessing that the panic hands off to the retreat system. So if the player is in the radius of 8, it can interrupt the activity module. So whatever they're doing, they can stop. And then if the value, the target, in this target radius, and then that is the push retreat max range. So I'm guessing this is for them to push the player and then run away. Request bark, which is their taunt system, which I will be looking at here shortly. I've had a couple of different members mention that they do not like the bark system. So I'll be looking at the bark system. to see if I can cut down on the amount of barks, so to speak. So there's a medium priority bark. There's a time limit. There's setting the reaction, which is then going over to the animation system. And then they're throwing a weapon. So they have the potential to throw a weapon and then run. Interesting. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to also go through here and just start saving code. So I'm going to go through and just start writing ones that are condition based. So this condition is withdrawal. So if this happens, get the hell out. And let's make sure this lines up properly because this should be here. I'm not sure why this lost these spaces this bad, but it's annoying. So here, here. Here. Delta times on the same line. The selector is indented. Well, hopefully this goes a lot easier here. And I think, trying to remember, I'm pretty sure this has formatting tools. So if we go here and just say, can't believe that they don't have that on a hotkey. So I think it's probably just one more indent. There we go. Okay. So now we have the concept of withdrawal. Currently, they're throwing a weapon. So they throw their weapon. This time. And let's see here. Let's see. Notepad plus plus repeat action. Oh. Wow. What's the date on this? So they're saying I might be able to just do a macro. Okay, say start. Let's go over here. Say, okay. Now we say stop. Okay. So Control Shift P. So then we have the idea of a throw weapons. So we can even go over here and start saying like, okay, so these are our combat. These are our actions. See. See. we got our combat, we've got our actions. I'm going to turn this off. It's a little distracting in the background. So then the upper level ones, this is not going to be as like, basically, I think this one's looking at a bunch of conditions. I think it then needs to, in order that to pull this off, I would basically need to say last man standing goes and says, are these conditions true? If these conditions are true, go and do this. So if we did something like put the selector down there underneath the condition and then follow this down, that lines up. And then basically what I would probably do here is like just get rid of throw weapon. So like now this is run. So basically this now counts the number of members that are left alive, and it says based on this number of people left alive, run. I like that. We'll see if we can play on that later. So let's go back to this really quick. So there is no concept of minimum members count. The idea of group member. So I see like group member is kind of a concept. So let's see if we can go in here and say group member. See, here's group members dead. So here's sync actions. Oh, okay. Okay, hang on. We're getting a little bit deeper here. So let's see here. Let's save this location. Let's go back. This is under scripts. Scripts. Sync actions. Hello, sync actions. What I've been looking for my whole life. Say, let's go back to our retreat and let's look at some sync actions here. So move this so you guys can see this a little bit easier. Follow along. Basically, use like actor type, animation finished. Where do we have our group? Go in here and say group members dead. Check if other group members are dead, minimum count. So if you use it like this, so let me see if this is enough for me to actually go write this. So we say, let's go over here and say group. So here they're saying, are other group members alive? And then they're saying minimum members count equals 1. But that's not how they have it here. And that's the thing that's kind of annoying here. But I'm guessing if I go over here to the, we go here and we say human behavior tree, and we say human retreat, human panic, they don't have any values here. Any values here. So they're not setting any values at the top here, which is what I was hoping, is that they were like setting the values and then setting them down. they have the scripted folder. Let's go to. It's interesting because a lot of the code that I've been looking at, so I got quiet here for a second, just kind of reviewing and reading. Hey, where's my pants? How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Oh shit.
Oh shit!
The first time I've
First time
actually
I've actually
joined.
joined.
S-
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Joined a
joined a
channel such
channel
as
such
this.
as
I was
this.
kind
I
of
was kind of
curious. Happened to
curious.
see
Happened
you
to see you
live, and I just
live, and I
wanted
just
to.
wanted to.
I
I
also
also
read that
read that
you were
you were
updating to
updating
what
to
point zero
point
nine
zero nine
today, or at
today,
least
or at
later
least later
today. At
today.
least that was
At
the
least that
game
was the game
plan from
plan
what I
from what I
was
was
Well, I'm
reading.
working
reading.
on it. Working on it
Okay, okay.
today, but it's supposed to be out possibly by next weekend.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay, all
okay,
right,
okay, all
got
right,
you, got
got
you.
you,
Yeah,
got
I'm
Yeah,
you.
just
yeah.
I'm
looking at
just
work
looking at
right
work
now
right
and
now
happened
and
to see it.
happen to
Like,
see it. Like,
let me
oh,
check
let's
this
check
out.
this out.
My
And
My
girlfriend,
we're
girlfriend,
she's in the
she's in the
background now
background now
watching
watching some kind of
paranormal
paranormal
TV
TV
show.
show.
So
So
I guess it's
I
very
guess it's very
fitting
fitting.
that here I am
Here I
nice.
am
checking this
checking
out.
this out.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you jumped on. Yeah, usually I just do like these little series where so this is all getting dumped onto Twitch, and then basically what I'm trying to do is kind of teach how I'm doing some of these things while I'm doing them, so that way if people want to follow along on like what I've done, how I've done it, you know, connecting breadcrumbs, that kind of thing, they can go write their own mods using that kind of same
Oh,
similar logic.
okay, okay,
Okay, okay,
that's pretty
that's pretty
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
pretty awesome
pretty
because
awesome
yeah, I
because
could
I could
always
always
learn a little
learn a
bit
little
more
bit
about
more
the
about the
things you
things
have
you
going
have
on
going
here
on
because
here
it's
because
very
it's very
interesting.
interesting,
Very
very
interesting mod.
interesting mod.
It's
It's very
very reminiscent
reminiscent
of
of that of
I don't know if you
I
ever
don't know if
played
you ever played
uh
uh
of State
of
of
State of
Decay
Decay
2,
2,
but
but
another
another
fellow
fellow
modder. His name
modder.
was
His name was
Nero. He
Nero.
came
He
up with
came
his
up with his
own
own
overhaul
overhaul
slash
slash
increased spawn
increased
mods
spawn
as well
mods as
too,
well
and
Yeah,
too, and
it was
it was
quite
quite
legendary to say
legendary
the
to say the
least.
least.
yeah,
Because
Yeah,
plant
jumping in
jumping
his
in his
mods were
mods
like
were like
literally
literally
changing the
changing the
difficulty
difficulty
level. It was
level. It was
something that
something
of
that
the
of
on the
the on the
same
same
almost
almost
on
on
the
the same
scale
scale
of
of
from what Undead
Undead
Labs was
Labs was
doing,
doing, but
yeah.
better, so
more
much more
challenging and stuff.
challenging and
And when I
stuff. And
saw
when I
your
saw your
mod,
mod,
it just
it just
reminded me so
reminded me
much
so
more of
much
his,
more
and
of
I see
his,
the
and I see the
potential
potential
behind this,
behind
and
this, and
that's why I've
that's
Thanks.
been
why I've
playing
been
around
playing
with it,
around with
and
it,
trying
trying
various
various
things and
things and
whatnot, and
whatnot, and
Sure.
things that
things
you've
that
been
you've been
mentioning. But
mentioning. That
didn't you
didn't you
say
say
in one of your
in one of your
videos that it
videos
may
that
be
it may be
possible
possible
to
to
enable the
enable the
goons
goons
to
to
jump on
jump
top of
on top of
vehicles and I guess
vehicles and I guess
follow you
follow you
up to
up to
the
the
rooftops and
rooftops and
such?
such?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm going to start working on here in a little bit is trying to turn them into essentially kind of what the tanks were on Left 4 Dead. I'm trying to figure out the balance because you have three different ones. So you have the Goon, you have the Charger, and then you have the Demolisher. I haven't decided which one I want to make the Climber yet because technically I haven't modified the Demolisher. So if I had to go through and say, okay, so the Goon is carrying around this massive club. So this idea that I can turn the club off for him to climb, he's an infected. Why would he, why would he put away his massive melee weapon to climb kind of thing? So instead of doing something like that, I'm trying to look at like, does it make sense to take one of the other AI and try to make them the climbers? Because I did something similar with like the screamer. Originally, the idea was I wanted the screamer to basically run behind the player screaming the whole time. I tried that, super obnoxious. But she also only has, or it only has, I'm thinking of the spitter off of Left 4 Dead. It only has one ability, which is to scream, or two abilities, scream and shove. And so because of that, I'm sitting there like, like what? Like I was thinking of like scary, infected, like what that could look like, and if I made this infected that screamed, and when it screamed, it kind of latched onto the player and chased them over rooftops, and then had the potential to shove them off of rooftops. I was sitting there going like, that would be like completely different from how they currently are implemented. So like maybe, but I was looking at it a little bit more, and I was sitting there like, I don't like the Screamer doing that because the generic game they spawn howlers way too much, and so because of that I'm sitting there like you end up with a whole city full of annoying like creatures that are chasing you down and shoving you off roofs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
And then you go ahead and think about the Demolisher. I mean, that would, God, that would make me think of something like to like King Kong almost effect. You know, him
right,
barreling from rooftop. That would be legendary. Like,
exactly,
so
exactly. So I'm still trying to figure out which one I want to. How mean do I want to be, as far as making the giant monkey that climbs the walls that can slaughter you, kind of thing.
Oh, dude, but I think out of I mean, yeah, they all have their advantages for sure.
Yeah.
But man, I'm thinking the one that may get the most play is the fact, again, Demolishers. Like I said, barreling at you like King Kong himself.
Yeah.
That may get the. I mean, but like I said, it all depends because I do like what you're saying about the Screamer though too. The way it latches. I mean, that would be awesome too. But you're right though. I mean, the players could easily get overwhelmed. I mean, but
Yeah.
it's terrific though. If you invite three of your buddies on, you guys want to have a little shits and giggles type of party thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would be great too for that type of for that scenario right there. Like you said though, it all depends on the how they want to play that particular time, or if they just want
Yeah.
to. Uh, I guess
Well,
sodomized every time.
what
Every
the
time they decide to jump on and play, yeah. I mean, I guess to each their own. I mean,
Well, I'm trying
everybody likes.
to I'm trying to build out the concept. So right now, Techland kept things very simple to where they only have one of each. For the 1.0 release, I'm looking at creating multiple different types of infected in a new way. And so one of the things I'm looking at is maybe based on level, if I can make their visuals change, the idea that when you start out they're kind of one type with like rare cases that you see this one that it behaves slightly different kind of thing, but then as the game progresses they like different areas they behave differently. And if I can do that, then the idea is to basically make it when you run the installer for the mod, you basically just choose. So you say like, okay, I don't want the Screamers to do this. I do want them to do this. All of that takes a lot of time to stage, though. So we'll just see. We'll see how well I can get through the like setting up some of this code.
Now, with all this stuff that you have access to, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, if you've seen, unused assets, such as maybe potentially, new infected that we haven't seen yet. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine they'll probably introduce something in the future. I mean, whether it be a year from now or maybe even less. Maybe
Yeah.
5 years from now. But I would love to see something. The what is it? The freaks of nature. From the following.
Yeah.
Those steroid-induced demolishers that we had
Yeah.
over there. That would be awesome. I mean, I don't even know if you'd feel comfortable talking about that, like, because I'm sure some people like to keep things,
No, no, no.
hush
So
hush.
no, so I think that the biggest thing is I think for the first release here, I think if I had to summarize the first release of Dying Light 2, is that they've got 95% of their code that doesn't work, and then they got about 5% of their code that does work. And just taking the time to crawl through the code that does work and the ones that don't, I think that's the end result of where they had multiple handovers. They had, all sorts of different developers. I was just, as you got on, I saw you were on here. I was just about to make the comment. I have something highlighted here where, like, so I'm a developer myself in the game world as well. And one of the things that with like the team, so I run my software team at my company, and one of the things that like this immediately didn't make sense to me is that you have this syntax system here where we're going through and we're saying, okay, we're going to write this line like this, and that identifies to this, and then that identifies to this, and then what the hell is this? Why the hell do I have a behavior tree that does not follow the same naming protocols, that doesn't like, and then if you search for some of these things, this doesn't really exist at all, and that's the thing. The patrol code in this game is seriously broken. I've found multiple typos. I've found multiple things that if they were actually working, they would crash the entire game. The fact that the game doesn't crash means that A, they don't know the typos are there yet, and B, it means that those systems are just completely turned off. And that would explain why so many systems like the volatiles not being spawned in the world. The reason the volatiles are not spawned in the world is because the volatiles don't know how to behave. And the reason they don't know how to behave is they don't have patrol code. And so they're literally spawning a bunch of creatures into the world that are just standing there. But they have parts of the code that are like this that indicate where they were trying to make that work. But like, it's almost like, you know, it's like a modder did this almost. It's like, I mean, it's like something I would write, you know, so that way I would know that this is like my code versus the game's code kind of thing. And so when I see stuff like that, I'm just sitting there going like, what is the backstory here? I just wish I could get a developer on the horn and just kind of learn their like story of like all the bullshit they had to go through or whatever to get this game out the door. And they probably couldn't even do that because they would probably be capped immediately for sharing that kind of thing. But it's, if you read through the code, there are all these signs and symptoms of a disjointed effort to just get this thing out the door. And my guess is now that they've gotten it out the door, they're going to try to use the funding generated from selling it to try to go back and fix some of it. As far as like how much they plan on putting in, there's so many references to so many different systems in here. I mean, there's references to dog logic in here, to have dogs in the game. I can turn on logic to make it snow in the game right now. There's all sorts of different things in here that aren't being used that make no sense whatsoever. But that was also true of Dying Light 1. So it's like you're like sitting there looking at like 80% of code that's interesting, that kind of works. Some of it doesn't work. You can turn it on, but are you scared to turn it on? Like, there's all sorts of stuff hidden in here. The question is do you have the time and the energy to write the missing links? Because with a lot of these cases, similar to this, they have all of the code for humans to actually patrol the city, but they're not doing it. And so if you know how to follow the breadcrumbs, you might be able to actually go in here, write all the code, and turn on a bunch of the systems that they didn't get a chance to finish.
Yeah, to my understanding, I know from Dying Light 1 to the second one, that there's been some key developers that have either left or been fired
Yeah.
from that time. So I mean, that may have played a huge, that may have been detrimental. I mean, that was probably detrimental, yes.
Oh, it would be groundbreaking.
So
Earth shattering.
like that show, yeah.
If you got, especially, I mean, they have a narrative based game. I mean, if you have a narrative based game, the most complex part about a narrative based game is that it has to make sense with the narrative. If you start straying from the narrative, it no longer makes sense. So if they were doing an open world, build a base to defend from zombie hordes, no real storyline, you know, you have a lot more freedom to just go and build on that and kind of go in different directions. And I've seen several instances in game development where they developed a game and they had all the mechanics kind of roughed out of how they wanted the game to be, and then they wrote the story. And the story made the parts of the game all work correctly. But
Hey,
oh yeah.
Now, Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say,
so
so
in
in
reference to
reference
another
to
issue
another
that they're
issue that they're
having,
having,
a
a
lot of
lot of
PC
PC
gamers are having
gamers are
like
having like
stuttering
stuttering
issues.
issues.
Yeah.
Did you experience anything with that at any time? Because I had to downgrade. Initially I was playing on DX12,
Yeah.
but now I'm playing on DX11, and I had to make a couple other um uh, choices that I didn't want to. So obviously I'm not going to be not getting the full graphic
Frames.
settings, to my choosing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm able to make it work. There's no more stuttering anymore,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Because I mean, but for me to run a RTX 3070 and a Ryzen 7 5800X, I mean, it's my game, my my PC should be able to run this no problemo.
Yeah.
But because of some people are blaming it on the game, others are blaming it on Nvidia, like the latest update to that. What do you think is the real issue with that? Do you think it's the game personally?
I think it depends if you're playing modded or not modded. Are we saying without
Oh
mods or
no
are we saying with
no
mods?
No, I'm
no!
talking
I'm
about
talking
without
about without
mods.
mods.
Okay, just making sure because I was about to say I was talking to a group of the guys on here the other night, and currently with the mod, there's 20 times the amount of zombies being spawned in than the base game. So I mean, it's gonna be more overload. But with the vanilla game, um, basically to spitball, it always comes down to optimization and the different systems that they have set up. I can launch like Star Wars Battlefield right now and turn on DirectX 12 on my card, and I can't play it. Like it stutters so poorly that I just can't play the game. And that one's been out, for several years now. There's forums filled up with people saying that they're all aware that that's a problem, kind of thing. I think the challenge is that the developers don't always get enough time to support all the different graphics cards, all the different conditions, and what ends up happening is you have engine memory leaks. And if you can go through and spend enough time, if your development team has enough time to do all the QA testing that they need to make sure that those memory leaks all go away, then that's great. But if you're under budget, you're under deadlines, you're under all the things that Techland's been going through, more than likely, as the game continues on, they'll continue to release those different updates to try to fix some of those problems. But I mean, essentially, it's kind of like what it's not exactly the same, but essentially, it's like when I'm releasing the mod and I go through and I have 120 files and I've set a bunch of things exactly how I want them for the mod to be successful. But then I release it to 1,000 people, and those 1,000 people all have different play styles. They have different computers. They have different keyboards, different mice, whatever it is. They can all react to my work differently, and they want to change those values. Once you start allowing people to change values, now you have exponential growth in multiple different directions of, this person wants his blood decals absolutely on ultra, but then he wants the fog also on ultra. Both things can't be ultra, kind of thing, on that graphics card, etc., etc. So it's like, I feel like with most of these things, no development team ever gets enough time to actually optimize for everyone. And so I think for a DX12 game, I think they've actually done a stellar job, considering the fact that, again, I've times 12 or times 20'd their spawn rates, and I'm not crashing. It's the first time I've ever seen a game engine do that. Like you can't go to like Skyrim or any of those systems and just start 20 timesing their systems on spawn rates and it not immediately brick. And so
Now, from what I found out, I mean, initially I was having the stuttering issues,
yeah,
but by simply turning the VSync and async on and off, I was able that actually fixed the issue. Um, because I was hearing people saying that that would help. I can't remember exact. It had something to do with the cache. I'm trying to my
the
memory.
cache.
Yeah, yes. it escapes me right now, but in a nutshell, that bit of advice that I got off the DL2 community hub, it was able to fix the issue, but that wasn't even the main reason why I dropped it out to DX11. The real reason is because after an hour of gameplay,
Mhm.
my FPS would go down the shitter. It would start with about 110 or so,
Yeah.
and then it would start sputtering at about 15 or 20. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, dude. This is an RTX 3070. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, that's a memory leak. So memory leaks are known to have exponential growth over time. So if you don't have if you don't fix that memory leak, it will only get worse the longer you play. So it that's kind of the point I was trying to make with the spawn code. If I can up it by 20 times and the engine is not collapsing, but little things are causing it to stutter, more than likely it's just a memory leak on some of the code. Um, and so most of the time that stuff can be fixed. And so, my guess is that they'll probably put out some fixes for that kind of thing.
Yeah, but we're supposed to be seeing a big patch like sometime this coming week, from
I
my
heard.
understanding. Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't break the spawn mods. I mean, at least in my history of playing it, like for State of Decay, whenever they would release a new update, it would break the spawn mods.
Mhm.
And I just hope it doesn't do that to yours.
Oh no, it's gonna break everything. No. I'm ready for it. No, with Dying Light 1, every time they would update the game at all, it was hours of work to try to get it all working again. It's just that's the name of the game with modding these games. Because yeah, they either turn off a system that you were relying on, and now you have to figure out a new way to implement something, or they've now made it like a threshold cap to where you can't actually turn the values above a certain range, stuff like that. Like it's gonna break, and so that's actually one of the reasons that I set up the Patreon, is just because I know it's not very popular, but like with Dying Light 1, I mean, over the 5 to 6 years that I worked on that mod, I mean, I swear, man, I probably could have written my own game in the time that it spent maintaining that mod. And so it's one of those deals where now I'm at the point years later where I actually want to go and write a game that does all the things that I'm doing for Dying Light 2. The challenge is that I just don't have a team. And so in order to build a team, I need to find the developers and the programmers that are all like-minded, but also need that startup cash. So it's all about trying to figure out how to even ever make that possible. So who knows? We'll see in the future.
All right. I do have one question about your mod, and then I'll go ahead and let you go because I'm sure I'm holding you back.
Oh, you're good.
The main question I had though is what we discussed several days ago. Remember, I talked to you about an issue I had with your stamina, about the increased stamina drain.
Yeah.
So here on out, with every update that you do, because I like what you did as far as you telling me to delete the player variation, nightmare, and hard
Yep.
files. So with each update, would I simply just need to delete those and I should be good to go?
Nope, even better. I did it just for you. There is, if you go over to the Nexus, there are optional files that I've created that should fix that problem for you.
Oh,
Okay.
So I'm gonna pull it up here. I don't know if you're seeing my screen, but
Yep, I'm taking a look at it right now.
under the different sections, there's the optional files. Basically, what I set up is for less stamina drain, I'm basically just turning off the run and the kick stamina. This won't make it to where. So just to justify the reasoning here, in the code, it's written that you regenerate stamina while you're sprinting, and that makes no damn sense ever.
Yep, I totally understand. I totally understand with that. And another thing I noticed they changed too. In Dying Light 1, you could actually regenerate by kicking, which didn't make any sense to me. So because
Exactly.
myself, I used to abuse the shit out of that myself
Yeah.
to regenerate. Whenever I start kicking the hell out of a zombie, and as soon as I was at 100%, I started meleeing all over again. It was too OP for sure. I mean, so I understand what you're.
It just doesn't make any sense. But these two should help you out. So the less stamina will get rid of just the run and the kick. It will make it to where you gain less stamina while running. You don't gain. It's not like it turned that off. I just set it to where you gain less of it. And then the no stamina drain basically removes all my modifications to the stamina, to where the stamina is based on the base game, except in the configuration files you can set the max stamina. So it pretty much disables all the stamina options except max values.
Okay, now how does this affect holding your breath underwater? Because
Oh,
I noticed it was a big decrease.
I that is
Barely-
that is
it
another
was
line.
bad.
I saw it today,
It was
but
bad. It was bad because honestly, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. My girlfriend's looking at me like you're talking too loud. um, but yes. So I went deep sea diving over there at the sunken city, right?
yeah.
And by the time I went down there to each one, shit, I want to say 75% of my stamina had already went, and I'm at like 340, 360 as far as stamina goes for the game goes.
Yeah.
And when I compared that to normal on hard,
Yeah.
a vanilla game, dude, it's like night and day. I think it goes through stamina probably 5 times faster, probably.
Let me let me pull this up here because yeah, so
Again,
for
big thing I wanted to talk to you about.
so from the swimming, I think what the change is I think I made it better, but I think people might not be able to use it yet. So basically, I made it to where you can use sprint with swimming, to where you can actually like hold down shift or one of your nitros. So whatever your nitro button is, you can actually use that underwater. Um,
Okay.
but so that'll make you swim faster. And then basically what I was trying to set up was you do drain stamina, but I think the problem that you're probably seeing is that the overall stamina drains have been increased by the mod, so therefore the swimming stamina is being drained. But I'm just reviewed here. I'm not actually modifying. There is no value that I'm seeing right away for swimming stamina. But hang on, let me confirm that because I swear I saw that the other day. Um,
Something is definitely affecting it because, like I said, I initially went. I went to the bottom with using your mod. I was like,
yeah,
whoa, what the hell is going on? I barely got any time to unlock.
yeah.
And so what I did was I temporarily took out your mod. It was a drastic change. It was a big change.
Oh, I think it's the yeah. Here they are. I removed. I think I just removed all of these. So I didn't do the swimming. So I removed the swimming. Um, so swimming's not currently in there. And then let me make sure that this is not being set in the rest of the mod because I did change this, but I started getting weird results with the game acting weird. There, okay. So it is in, or maybe that's under the temp file. Let me
But like I
remove
said,
these.
it's nothing you have to resolve right now. But I wanted to bring to your attention
Yeah.
to eventually just take a look at.
Okay.
And what was I gonna say? That's right. From according to what an earlier conversation we had, you said that by simply taking the mod out and playing vanilla for a brief period, such as heading into the drunk. Why do I want to say drunken city? The
Sunken.
sunken city.
Yeah.
I want to say drunken for everything. But yeah. Every time I do that and I install it, it's like because I had that old mindset of taking out a spawn mod and putting it back in. It's like almost I feel like I'm affecting the spawn rates, which is why I came across something very strange, and that was what I posted earlier about not seeing any screamers, not screamers, but yell hollers
Yeah.
outside of the bazaar. But
Yeah.
had brought to my attention that Techland purposely took these haulers away from the bazaar. But see, I wasn't having that issue, just prior to removing, your mod.
Right.
They were still spawning in full effect. I mean, shit, I saw
Yeah.
several in the same, that were in my line of sight. But
Yeah.
I went from seeing several to like none. I mean, granted, this was towards the end of the night, and I only played around this for maybe 5 minutes, and I shut it down.
Yeah.
But I get play with it a little bit more, man. But it's like I did not see any hollers after I put the mod back in. Your latest one, your .8 A.
So
But
I think
what's going on?
So I think that's actually, so I've heard about this bug a couple of times. I was putting out kind of the public info there for a while that if you are first setting up the mod to go to sleep in the game, some people were saying that didn't work, but I think I agree with you. There's this weird lull when you go from like a vanilla game to installing the mod, and then when you first start running around, the spawn system doesn't really seem like it spawns in a lot of zombies until because it's based on proximity. So when you first get in there, I think your save game is actually storing the previous locations of biters and stuff like that. I think at a very base level, they're trying to say like, okay, if this encounter was there a second ago, put it back if you load that save game. And so I think what's happening is that you basically have to leave an area completely and then come back. Like get completely out of that area. It should reset everything. And one of the easiest ways to do that I've seen is to just use the sleep system. So if you use the sleep system, it will flush the spawns and redo everything. And
what about the fast traveling options? Do you think that'll flush it as well too? Fast traveling options?
Probably. But I would say that it's based on time. So everything, I haven't seen any code that would lead me to believe yes. I've only seen time related. So as a matter of fact, it's one of the major bugs that several of the people have experienced where they're stuck in perpetual night. They don't have a day cycle anymore. They can't sleep. They can't do anything. That is because, and I was looking earlier this week at a way to basically write like a hotkey or something like that forces the time transition to maybe fix some of their issues. Their code is based on real time scale inside the game to where certain events take place at certain times, and if you hit that time period, it causes certain systems to start. One of those being, if you sleep, as soon as you wake up, it starts activating all of those event systems. So I actually went into perpetual day very easily by modding the time of day values to say like, okay, make it to where when I go to sleep and I wake up at say 7:30 instead of 7 o'clock. By doing that, it would break half the system because half the system is looking for that 7 o'clock transition. And so just by triggering that, it will reset all the spawn systems. It'll reset all of those different things. So I would recommend just trying to, either just leave the area and circle back. But there's also a grace period. So when you first go to sleep and you wake up, there's like a 30-minute window. And with the new version of 8.8 or 0.8a, I've increased the time scale again, so it takes more time for the game to progress. So
that's cool.
There's a short time period from when you first wake up to when night is actually activated, and it'll actually do the little circle timer that shows you that the infection has started or whatever. So from that time, make sure that you're running around a space or running around areas, because even if you're standing in one place and even if that infection starts, you won't see howlers, you won't see any of that stuff until you start moving around the map. You have to go like a couple of blocks down kind of thing.
Okay, okay, all right. I'll definitely try that. I appreciate your advice on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, of
All
course.
right. Yeah, because the only other thing I was thinking about, but I dreaded was our only means of fixing an issue with state of decay was either starting a fresh map, I mean a fresh game, or just switching maps. I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm not gonna start from the beginning. Screw that. I
Yeah.
put in 20 hours on this playthrough. Yeah, but I
I
appreciate it, man.
I'm fixing the swim issue right now. So I found where I was manipulating that. I'm gonna put out a quick fix for you,
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
and that should help with that.
All right, that's what's up. And if I come across any other issues, be sure to send them your way, man. I appreciate everything you've been doing with this mod.
Cool, man. It was good catching up with you. It's nice to actually talk to you in person for the first time or over mics.
Yeah, definitely. And I look forward to the well, I guess whichever one you choose, either the Howler or the King Kong Demolisher effect. I mean, either way, I'm sure it's gonna be pretty epic.
Oh well, yeah. Just to clarify, there, the only point I was going to make there is that I didn't do it with the screamer. I actually did it with the spitter. So the spitter actually now chases you around the city and tries to shove you off the roof. So the spitter will do it instead of shooting at you. It will try to push you off a roof. But with the tank creature that will climb the walls and stuff like that, that's happening one way or another. It will either be a goon, a charger, or a demolisher. Someone's climbing.
That'd be awesome. We
Yeah.
can't wait.
So
All right, man.
that's coming
Thank
up.
you. All right, you take it easy.
Cool, man. Take it easy. Alrighty. So switching back. All right, so just to jump back here on where we were at. So currently we were looking at the retreat code and going through and basically creating a list of actions that would allow us to write new and interesting AI just based on their sequence of events. I discovered the minimum counters and everything, which led me to the actual code where we were looking at the sync vars, which are basically the sync actions, or where they're calling the different things, where they're saying, like, okay, this is where we're going to do this one specific thing. The part that doesn't make sense and the part that I don't understand yet is that, yes, it does. These are the actual actions that are being called, but they're different. So they're writing them to where it's like slot X, they're writing it like remove actor, gang member, slot 02. The part that doesn't make sense to me is like where they're getting like the gang member part of it. Like I have no idea where they're defining those values, because like for example with this minimum members count over here, or are other group members alive, sure, we can say like, yeah, we want to call our other members, group members, dead, or are they alive. We can do that, but you have to know how they're writing the actual slot IDs and the minimum counts and how they're being called by the game currently, because wherever they're writing those, that's actually what I'll have to end up writing or tapping into. So either I'm restricted to the code that they've already written and I can only use those if it's defined somewhere that I don't have access to, or if I can find where they're actually creating that pool of list things that's true for each different class of enemy. Then I can go in here and say like, okay, now let's write unique interactions. But in that, there was this idea of, okay, we were going through and saying retreat and all that, and then the part that I left off was this request patrol points. I was just about to say this makes no sense why their patrol point code, they have this patrol random points that doesn't actually exist anywhere else, um, except apparently the Waltz dialogue, which is also just another human script. So they have this concept of patrolling random points, but then where they're actually defining these points or defining the system that's going out and creating points, I feel like that's what's missing. So something's not going and creating the random points for these to tie into. So something to look at here in the future is trying to write those different points. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start writing conditions, and so we have like is the target in the radius. Setting bool operators here. Even just calling a random. So that one's probably going to come in pretty handy. I think basically what this is doing is this is tying to the values that are defined in the profile. So for example, if we go here and search for this one value, yeah, so it's over in the, it's actually over here in their constants.
Once again, I find you are left alone.
Hey, Alex. Actually, where's my pants just jumped out. So haven't been too long. He had a bunch of questions that it was kind of fun asking. But how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm actually gonna try to play some of two.
Nice.
What are you working on currently?
So I actually have been uncovering some fun stuff. What I was looking at originally, the original prompt, before I went all the way down the rabbit hole, was looking at how the code is setting up the retreat system for the AI. Currently, like when they retreat, they're idiots. They just kind of run off.
Yeah.
I was trying to see. So my process is I try to find a fun prompt that relates to the world of saying like, okay, what if instead of them doing this, what if they did this? And my current one that I'm trying to aim for is, if a bandit is outnumbered, if he could count the amount of adversaries that he has, he should retreat to the rooftops. So they climb up on top of a car, they climb up on top of a van, up on top of a windowsill, whatever. They go up. So that way they're not just standing there dying like idiots. They're actually using the same kind of techniques that everybody else, all the other survivors are supposedly, or the runners are using to stay alive, which is using the rooftops. For some reason, bandits don't seem to hold that amount of intelligence. They're all just standing on the ground. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm trying to see if I can send them up. And while I was doing that, I discovered my rabbit hole, which is, and I'll share this again with you, is something that makes no sense that immediately stood out is that like when we go through and we write code for our games and stuff like that, we try to develop syntax for our games so that we say, yes, we're adhering to the same system. So in all this code, we're saying, okay, we have a human underscore, we're doing a request, and then anything past request is underscore, and then so that we know it's a request and this is a subject. Down below is this idea of request, and then there's a dialogue and a full body blah blah blah. What the hell is this and why the heck is it in there makes no sense to me, because this is vanilla code. Someone didn't follow the syntax, someone didn't follow like any of this, and so it doesn't make sense why that looks like it does. But then when I was searching a little bit more, or this is the code that it's calling for the patrol system for them to actually be able to create their own pathways. And this code doesn't exist. So from everything that I've seen, this code doesn't actually exist. If it did exist, then they would probably actually patrol. But it looks like they started with like a very early like test, because they didn't actually go through and rename anything like it was finished. And so I think what happened is they were trying to get this system working, and then they just scrapped it. which is probably why they scrapped the volatiles, which is why they probably scrapped a lot of the systems, is the fact that they tried to write this random point generator for the nav mesh. They couldn't get it working, so they just disabled all of it, is my guess. And so I was just going down that rabbit hole because I'm sitting there like, okay, so if they wrote some of this, essentially the idea here is like, okay, if they wrote this value and this value is ingrained anywhere in the project or inside the game, if I go give it these random points or I create the system that would feed in random points, it would turn on all their patrol code. But then the more I was looking at it, it's basically a dead end. Like it just immediately
that's so unfortunate.
it just doesn't exist except on two different types of the humans, the waltz and then the human scripted, but then nothing really seems to be feeding it points. Anyway, so that was my rabbit hole. I was sitting here going like, oh, maybe this is like, I can fix the patrol stuff, and then that led absolutely nowhere. So I was just kind of like circling back around to like, okay, we're just gonna baby steps. So what I'm doing right now is I'm basically building out a list of this XML code is pretty simple if you know like what it's trying to do, which is basically like, it's actually really nice because essentially they set up a lot of this code to where you can inject new code, and as long as it has its references correctly set, it'll actually just go and do it, which is nice because it means you don't have to really write anything that's already been written. So like, for example, here's a condition that says, are other group members alive? So this will force the AI to just go and say, if I'm a part of a group, count the members of my group. If they're below this amount, do something. And that's it. So I can just copy this code, and in the future, if I ever want to use this code, I have it. So I'm just kind of like looking at these different ones because they have this idea of like, have other members died, that kind of thing. So even with this one, I was going to look and see like, if I tell zombies to say, have other zombies died recently? Yes. Become irate, lose your mind, go nuts. Then I can potentially just call, watching around its area and saying, has any zombie died in this area recently? And I would probably do that for like the special infected, because right now the special infected, they just kind of walk in a circle. They just walk in a circle kind of thing. Yep. So instead of like, currently I've got the sensor code turned on really high and sensitive, and that's what everybody's complaining about because it breaks the stealth system. So I'm trying to say like, okay, if I had to rewrite it.
To be fair though, their stealth system wasn't as good as it could be.
I agree, but I can, playing within the bounds, potentially it would make it easier for certain quests, because I know that certain quests are probably really, really difficult now that I've added some of these things, just because like it has to be.
Oh no, it's great. I did some side quests I haven't done, being in perpetual night. It's just like, hey, can you help me over here? 7 volatiles. I'm like, oh my god, no. Especially when the NPC screams, I'm like, no, stop, don't do that.
So someone posted earlier that I saw it in the over in the bug section. Someone mentioned, or no, it was on the Nexus. Someone posted that the volatiles are showing up in the daylight again, in the sense that they're not getting the transition code. So from like night to day, volatiles aren't getting like despawned. So if you're going to do a playthrough, if you could just keep an eye out to see if you see volatiles in the day again.
Well, remember, I don't get a day.
Do what?
Remember,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Never mind.
I am glad that what was it? Was it the same person we were talking to today while I was at work? Someone was saying, "Hey, there's no howlers and stuff," and I had to explain that was an original exploit that Techland took out, because that's literally where you could just farm chase level 4.
Yeah.
It makes sense why they did it.
I think that was actually Where's My Pants.
Maybe because I'm glad he was having all these questions that I have the answer to this.
I know this. I can help. Let's see. So yeah, that's that one. And then basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to see if I can go in here and say, because I think the interesting part is I need to figure out how they're assigning their combat targets. Like what the hell is telling them? How is it? How is the agent system getting its targets? Because I feel like that's the part that's like really stupid. Like I feel like all the
Did you
time.
find I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you find the
No, you're
bandit
good.
bowman that Vic was talking about
Oh
since like
yeah, so
yesterday?
so basically the issue is that I've written in these new encounter I've written in this new group. Well, that's not true. The bandit bowman, let's go look. Let's go look. I'm glad you brought that up. Because the bandit bowmen are supposed to be based off those are supposed to be based off of their code. So I thought I was safe to spawn these bandit bowmen, but he's right. They show up as the renegades because all of their code is set. Oh, I'm looking at renegade. Duh. All right. Whoops. All right. Let's see. Bandit. Where's bandit bowman? So bandit bow. All right. There's. Oh. Why did I think there was a bandit bowman? It must be because they show up in the other code.
Yeah, let me see where
But there
I
is
believe
no
he said it's a
bandit
bandit bowman. Let me go back to the discussion.
No, he absolutely did. He did say that it was a bandit bowman. That's because I thought so. I've been spawning bandit bowman, but that's because I wrongfully assumed that they had written in bandit bowman. But based on this,
Oh, so you created a bandit bowman.
because look, there's this range right here. It's literally the first one. Bandits easy R1 is range is bandit bow, but bandit bow is not actually
A bandit,
oh, it's nothing. It doesn't exist. So
Oh.
I think what this is this is an alias issue, because I'm guessing what they did is that they had one way back, and then that was like a test one, and then they got rid of the test code and they set up an alias. Let me see if it shows up under the alias code. Because even here under the encounter settings, they have a preset which is bandit bow. So I assumed, again, without, and then even in the prefabs, they're calling for a bandit bowman. So then down here, what is this? This is the encounters. These are all part of the, yeah. So under here, here's an AI spawner is preset bandit bow. Those are all bandit bow. But that could be why he had the other day, Vic was testing spawning different groups, and he said he had one show up in half PK armor and half other clothing.
Yeah.
That actually could be because he spawned, or maybe I spawned, maybe one of my bowmen, because they also have the concept of PK bowmen, but I haven't. Those are the crossbowmen. Those are supposed to be the crossbow guys, but maybe they don't. Yeah, so they have bandit bowman region 6, but do those even?
Yeah, what's region 6?
Let's see. I think region 6 is the was it not the industrial area, but the bandit camp. I think that's the actual. At least that's what the level files say, is that there's a bandit camp that shows up as like an entire area.
Oh, I think it's the one on top of the towers. I did that one. I didn't actually see any bowmen.
Well, maybe that's because they got rid of these guys. So maybe they've now turned off the idea of a bandit bowman, but that might actually work well on here because I might not have to do much work here. potentially I might just have to go in here and say, let's just create a new class.
Yeah, was that like making your own NPC at this point?
Yeah, but I'll just make one. Right here, they have these. This is the Blood Gang. So then they have all these different gangs. So
That didn't reference anything.
They do have bowmen that are specific to certain gangs, but for the street bandits, technically, do the street bandits identify?
I'm
No,
not sure.
It's these fodder guys, which I always thought is funny that they call these guys fodder. Yeah, so it's these fodder ones are the actual ones out on the street. So watch this. We'll see if this works. Watch it break the whole game. Let's go over to my work here and say, let's create a new branch. 0.9 fix bandit bowman.
Think of what other things you could give a bow now.
Well, and then that's the thing is I've created the concept of survivor bowmen. The problem with it is that they didn't start spawning in yet, so I can't get them. I'm calling them to spawn, but it's not actually spawning. So I'm not sure why that is. One of the reasons I was saying that this is going to be so nice is because they have code that's calling bandit bowman. So if I give them this, let's find another bowman real quick. So say custom data needs to be the same as probably bow.
So yeah, I have the leaves in my main menu.
Yeah, and those are normal. I think it's just the rain. You mentioned the rain is the one that I know.
Yeah, sometimes the rain pops up.
Interesting. The skyscraper bowman. Okay, so I'm gonna just steal.
Skyscraper bowman sounds like they would be the ones from the from that one bandit cap in the second map that you're not in.
Yeah. So sync actions is human elite. This is using custom. So let's see. Are any of these guys using? Yes, and none of these guys use custom data. Maybe that's a good thing. So he uses Peacekeeper, conscripts. Yeah. Okay. So they don't have custom data. They're just literally. Okay, so if we use this and then bandit fodder, I think technically they need to have the bowman animations, but maybe not. Back down, say. Man, I cannot believe the weekend is over already.
Right.
Just goes too fast. It's not fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, so all of these just use the generics. So yeah, none of them use specific ones to bowman, so it should just all be built into their animation file. And then weapon color set. I know that with the bowman, I think they were actually giving them specific bows because I did this with survivors. So it's the survivor bow, weapon set bow, and then this is the same as bandits, right? What is he getting? He doesn't have a custom weapon preset. Oh, also, I found where all their little taunts are. So I'm thinking about turning down the taunt system.
That'd be
That'd
nice.
I think that'll help. They're kind of annoying.
Oh, 100%.
That's interesting. So they've got this on the bosses. That's kind of like cheating.
What do they have on the bosses?
They're basically just setting this like blatant like 50% damage decrease to where
That's not right.
It's like none of it's like scaling or anything. It's just literally take 50% less damage always. It's pretty
That
boring.
explains why even those YouTubers who have like the level 9 weapons are like, oh, why is this boss actually taking some trouble?
Yeah, they're essentially just sponges. I mean, when I get there, it's going to be a while, but when I get to the point of like actually going through and trying to make the bosses more unique, that will be. I think I have. I think I have enough tools at my disposal at this point to actually go and make unique bosses. I think it's just going to take time to.
What do they actually qualify as the bosses in the game? I only know of the one.
The lieutenants.
Oh, they classify as bosses.
And then after. Ooh. Sorry.
You're good.
Interesting. Yeah, apparently a lot of people use this. It's like half of the enemies use this. What is a looter?
Reduce.
What's a looter goon?
I've never heard of a looter goon.
Ooh. Human AI scripted fights. So I found where they have like, yeah, and there it is. So here's all of the like, here's all the custom volatiles and everything. It's where they've created all of the quest based AI.
Oh well, there you go. You just spoiled all of the story right there. Waltz is indeed a volatile.
Viral, yeah. So they have this concept of a looter. What's a looter?
I don't know.
So they have a viral looter, a goon looter.
Viral looter and goon looter.
And then they have all their models here. All right, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit here. Let's have some fun. Let's try to get some more diverse creatures out in here.
Yeah, so you can see what they look like.
Yeah. It's cheap. See, I don't even have to play the game.
Especially for you, you're making the game great again.
What is the blue guy's goon?
I don't know any of these. Are these the special like Baba missions?
But they might so they don't have like custom. Let me look this guy up and see who the heck this is supposed to be. Whatever a blue guy's goon is.
Blue guy's goon.
He's a prefab. So no, it's probably just some like it's probably some inside joke or something. I found the code for making them all dance. There is a goon dance.
As they all should. They should not fight. They should just dance.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's a quest, I guess. Blue guy's logic battery a logic, and it spawns a character known as the blue guy's goon.
Oh, maybe it's that one that everyone sees in the picture. When he's right by the truck.
Which picture is that?
I mean the video. When they were saying the goon that runs, remember? Someone linked the picture and it was your mod?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the one that has the like gear on him,
Yeah.
the special one. Is that from? Is that only from one quest? Do you not normally see him?
It might be. I'm looking at pictures of goons from Dying Light, and I don't see like a variation.
Well, when in doubt,
Yeah, just add it to the pool.
let's head over here.
You find that black volatile, Eddie?
No, so that's actually this is where I would find that. So that's why I'm interested to see because all of that's probably going to be right here.
Yeah, random monster names.
So they have 4 different types of goons.
I wonder if that banshee from the prologue is a special banshee.
Good question.
So
There's
now
three
we've just
types
opened
of
up Pandora's
banshees.
box.
So hang on, let's have some fun here. This is gonna take a second, but this is probably gonna be well worth it. Probably. I say probably, very loosely. Because each one of these, they've only got, so they have no concept. So they have model overrides. Huh. So you can set the model here. Ooh, I like it. All right. So
Yeah, you can start
I'm
reskinning their
getting an
game.
idea here.
Look up and be like, wait, how is he reskinning our bars?
I'm getting an idea here. Let's see here. Let's just go to our special infected, starting with the Demolisher, I guess. And then say under here, model. And then demo. So they're just literally calling them. Interesting. Okay. So Demolisher. Demolisher B. Is that right? Demolisher C. Demolisher C red, whatever that is. Okay. Then to cap this off, we just need to go and add a field. Okay. Is that right? Yeah. They're doing it like this. I probably should have done it using this one, but aha. Okay, so there's our Demolisher. He now has 4 variants.
That's gonna be hilarious.
And then let's see.
You know what you need to do now? You need to find a way to make them snap so they can be like Grease the gang walking down the street.
Yeah, see, I don't know what the blue man is anyway, so I guess we'll find out what the heck that is. It's a goon. It's the same thing with the goon. Oh, except the Demolisher. Yeah, okay, there's no A. So here we say goon. Goon B. Goon C. Goon C red. And then here are, so those now get spawned randomly. How about spitters? What else we got? Spitters? They got 2 different types of spitters. It's fun.
They're cheating us. We only get one and there's 2?
Apparently.
Imagine one's like a Gatling gun spitter. Wait till your other people playing the mod find that one out.
I'm wondering though if it will actually just crash the game. It's like you put these in and they're like these nightmare fuel like broken creatures. Let's just do a compare real quick. What's the difference here? Pants, you know that.
Wait, it has pants? What is this madness?
Pants, and it has a different skeleton. It would need it. It would need to have different pants if it, or a different skeleton if it's going to have different pants. Hang on one second. So then I got very little done on the actual retreat part of the code, but this might be a win if we just get this working for now. But this will probably have to wait. Probably wait to do this as a part of point 0.9, just because I also want to do the overhaul on the bandit or biter code. So this might be a fun way of doing that by making it part of it, so that they have different AI and they also have different visuals. That could be kind of fun. Oh, that's got to be like early on. Huh. Okay. Okay. So how was your weekend, man?
It was good.
Good.
Yeah, it's all it's all it can be. If it was bad, I'd be like, oh, why am I here? What am I doing?
Why am I even around? Oh wait, it's for blue zombies or whatever those end up being. I'm nervous about that one. I feel like that's gonna actually break the game. And then they have this other one called the dead body.
A dead body? What?
No, I think it's where they have the suiciders. They have
Oh,
like
yeah.
exploded versions or whatever. Am I wrong? Is there like a dead body version of the suicider?
I don't think so. I know there's the water ones and then there's the regular ones.
Because they've got this idea. They've got 2 in here that are listed as. They've got 2 that are listed as corpses. Actually, they have 3 in here listed as corpses. So I assume that was like where it converts it to where it's like maybe without the head kind of, or without the body kind of thing, like falling to the ground, like playing an animation. It's only the legs kind of thing. I assumed it was something along those lines, but I could be wrong.
Interesting.
I'm going to just do the 2 different ones because it has 2 versions of the Suicider. So let's just stick to what we know real quick. They only have 1 Screamer, so only 1 Screamer made the cut. The Bolter, I know, has at least 2. I don't know, they've got a bunch. So then with a bolter.
I know there's the crystal bolter. And there's currently a glitch that if you do add that into your thing, I'm just warning you now. You can kick that thing and get infinite amounts of crystals.
So that's interesting. For the volatiles, they already had the ability to spawn 2 different versions of the volatile.
Well, that's because I think there's the regular volatile and the alpha volatile, but I've only seen the alpha volatile, which is their new one. I didn't know if there was another one, but if you can spawn that one, we can see what it finally looks like.
And then they have the alpha zombie, which I don't know what those are.
I don't know what the alpha zombie is either.
They've got some code that hooks them up that basically make them like almost indestructible kind of thing. I think they're a quest, like specifically a quest line. But
I know, just I said, the alpha zombie that I know of is the alpha volatile, but we see those everywhere.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's something different. Perhaps DLC actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I assumed it was, again, I haven't played the story, but I had like a rough guess that was like the original subject, 0 kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know who the alpha. If you add it, we definitely know.
Charger. So the Charger has 3 different versions.
The Charger has 3 different versions?
Apparently. And so what I'm guessing is that these were all versions that didn't make the cut, to where only one of them made the cut, kind of thing. But
I'm kind of curious what they look like.
I am too. We're about to find out. And if this actually ends up working, you'll have to keep it on the DL until I
Oh no, 100%.
Until I get it out. Yeah, okay. So they have so that's what it is. So they have these idea of hunting versions. They've got like the hunting versions, which those are the ones known as red. So is there some creature that you've seen before as part of the quest that is like,
nope.
I've turned on all of the code for the hunting. There's a bunch of logic in there called hunting, and I've turned all that on, but it might not work unless
there's a hunting zombie.
Which they've got all these lines right here that says to verify, so maybe they didn't get it working, but basically if all I have to do is set the constant file. Yeah, it's a quest. I bet these are the is there a quest where you have to kill a bolter, a goon, a spitter, and a banshee? And a volatile?
That would be the Baba Yaga. It's not kill them, that's capture them.
There you go.
And those are supposedly... Actually, I can see what they look like, actually. Let us see. What's the Baba, right? The Baba quest chain.
So we know that because of this, I know that the bolter, the ones that are called dead, work. So let's say here, bolter. Let me find the bolter again, because I didn't add this earlier, but now I know that one actually does work. So let's see. Bolter dead.
There we go. Side quest. Let's see what they look like.
The volatile, I'm guessing that the A version is the black version, because it says right here it's spawning the alpha or this volatile A, But I guess the question is that the default mod or the default game is
Wait,
already
wait, wait.
spawning.
Can you tell me what the goon is? Because right now I'm watching the Demolisher.
Demolisher is
Yeah.
yeah,
Because right now I'm going
Demolisher.
for the Demolisher head, and he's gonna show a picture of it. I'm watching the video.
Yeah, it says Demolisher C red.
The Demolisher is glowing red, yes,
Huh. Well, there you go.
and it has pants. All right, so let's see if we can see what all these things look like. These things are intense. If you add them to the game, yo, that's gonna be.
So let me. I gotta jump off here in a second just to take the dog out.
That's
But
fine.
let me try this out real quick. I don't know if I'm actually.
Okay, now this is going for the bolter.
Watch the game actually just crash. I mean, it shouldn't. They're spawning these guys in all the time. So
Oh, are you in the game right now?
like, as in like, it's not like I'm adding them and they've never been
Yeah, no, I know.
spawned before. They're part of the
Yeah.
game. So I was just saying it's less likely to actually cause problems. But I'm curious.
Yeah, I want to see what this bolter looks like, because you were saying the bolter for this quest was what again? In the file?
Red. I think he's just
Red
yeah,
bolter?
Oh no, he's called Dead.
Dead. I'm definitely following in this video. There he's following red tracks.
Yeah, it's just showing up as Dead.
Yeah, he is dead.
What does that mean?
That the bolter is actually dead. In the quest, there's a dead bolter.
Oh no. Okay, so that one doesn't work because he's just dead.
Alright, so I'm gonna go through this video before you add them all, so I can make sure they're all living. But you found what it is.
Hang on. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm actually gonna go run the pop out real quick, and then
That's
I'll
fine.
be right
That's
back.
fine. I'm just checking all the zombie. Oh wow, that thing looks amazing as a goon.
All right, be right back.
Yep. Welcome back.
Did you find out anything else interesting?
I was watching the Goon. Looks completely amazing. I'll tell you right there. It's like all in red, glowed up.
Nice. Let's see if I can get it to.
Trying to find the Banshee now.
Well, I guess I didn't have to do night, although it's more likely to find the different ones at night. Let me go see. Because the Goon, I technically could have gone over to that military area. Oof. Wonder if it's because I got something else up. I have definitely got the stutter bug. Wonder if it's because of doing something else.
So that spitter that you're gonna put in is called a fire spitter.
Oh yeah, he's an in-game, like an in-game spitter or whatever.
Apparently, he spits through toxic and fire.
So this is interesting. So the audio is gone. What's the audio missing?
Well, the audio is not you. That's an actual bug.
What do you mean?
So Dying Light has a problem where the audio goes as well.
So like you're saying, like right now, what I'm experiencing where I can't hear the audio.
Yeah, is an actual bug. I've had it. If you reload, it should go away.
Huh. So
Nope, that's not him.
let's say he looks the same. Haven't actually seen any spitters. Oof.
I think that is.
So let me go ahead and actually just kill the game real quick.
Yeah.
Let's launch again. Because something is definitely. Let me make sure I got nothing else going here. Well, the streaming, obviously, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, because you were able to do it multiple times before.
Yeah. Let's see. Could be because I just left it running kind of thing.
Also, yeah. Could be that also.
Isn't that just the joy of it? Is you never know what all is broken with it. It's just there's things broken. Now wait a second. Maybe it's because I've.
Are you muted?
Yeah, it gets set to 0 somehow.
But I will tell you, the whole audio thing is actually a bug. You can get that.
Interesting.
Do you have sound on your end?
Say again.
I said, do you have sound?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, a goat just yelled in my ear, so. If I can go find. I need to turn off the GUI mod as well, so that way I can actually see the stupid little icons letting me know where they all are. And then also, I don't think this is actually night. This is not actually night.
No.
It
is definitely still stuttering though. A little bit.
It's good on my side.
Oh, okay, then that's fine.
So whatever the heck was causing that cleared up. This looks kind of like it's morning.
I think this
might. Sorry, go ahead.
I think this might be the transition period.
Yeah, that's
what I haven't experienced in weeks.
It just transitioned tonight, so he's still.
Yeah, it's still the regular one.
He's still the same. I'm trying to think if there's another one that spawns always. Look at that. Look at that fill pattern. It's just sitting here going like, and you get a zombie, and you get a zombie.
Yep. Isn't there one by... Where's it?
Screamers. see a spitter yet, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, from what I was looking, the spitter model.
So there's definitely a spitter over here. Here he is. Okay, he's the same.
Well, from what I was looking at, and I still have it pulled up, the spitter looks exactly the same. It just deals fire damage as well as toxin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't like glow red or anything. It's just a regular spitter.
So I'm trying to think what. Oh shit.
All right, let's see what these virals look like.
Oof. Well, the thing that I'm having doubts about is that I've done this before. I've gone in here and I've set the custom models, but then it didn't actually work. And based on what I'm seeing, because I didn't set the
Hunt the overcharger. Oh my. So that's an electric zombie.
yeah. So I saw the code for him. So where did he go?
Okay, so the red goon is still a thing. That's a rabbit goon. Seething Demolisher. Okay.
Where did he go? Is the patrol code working? Because he disappeared. He was crawling around on the roof over here. And then he disappeared. These zombies.
Okay, here we go. Scorching Banshee. What do you look like? Okay, so a lot of the ways to tell that this thing is working is everything that has like a fire name means that it's, its pustules are red.
Oh, okay. Oh shit, he just respawned. And is this the black one?
Let me go back to you.
No, it's the regular one. Oh. Excellent.
Are you sure it's the regular one?
Didn't die. He looks like the regular one.
He's actually darker skinned if you looked at. But let me see.
Yeah, no,
I'll get to that one. And
it's hard to tell though, because the one I saw in the video, I really couldn't tell a lot about it. Okay, so I think the thing I was trying earlier, and I guess let's just try this. So technically, if this works, then it should let us know. So if we go in here to our zombies, delete out everything but this one. And we set it as Child Boy A.
What was this? There was with the Baba X. Okay, Black Vial. Here we go. Okay, what does it look like?
Well, the good news is that I have seen the occasional, people talking about the mod and that kind of thing as far as like problems they ran into. But not a lot. Seems like everybody is. I think people are now having more difficulty installing the game than they are playing the game.
Yes.
There's a lot of people having difficulty installing the game, so I'm gonna try to record like a little video on how to do it with both Vortex and the regular one for like installing multiple mods kind of thing. But it always comes down to like, will people watch the video first?
I'm sure people will watch the video.
But then if they have questions, you can always just send them the video. Yeah, so like, we say reset spawners. And this is what I was dealing with before, and so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I changed all the zombie models to no longer spawn as the zombies. But there they are. And there's really only one file for zombies that says like set this model or whatever. And that's the one that I said, use these models, and it didn't work. So
I think what you encountered was the black volatile if its hands were red.
I don't think its hands were red. I think it was just the standard one. Not to shoot down your hopes and dreams or anything, but
No, I'm just saying now because I actually found a video where they actually show the black volatile. I'm like, goddamn.
oh, where they like do like a walk around kind of thing.
Yeah. He's got red hands and feet.
Can you shoot that video over to me? I'm just curious.
Let me get you the timestamp where he first encounters him. Up close. Come on. Black skin, red hands. The best image you get of it is at 1 minute and 59 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And even that, it's like a quick glance, but you can clearly see it's black with red hands.
Resources, package config.
Hey everyone, Elmar's.com.
It didn't immediately. Oh, I think I've seen this one a couple of times. What was the timestamp?
1:59. And pause it right then. It's like the quickest glance you could ever get. But you can definitely see that it's red hands, black feet.
Oh, because that's literally all you see of it?
Yep. But you can at least tell it's different than the normal volatile. So there you go. If you find one that has it's black and has red hands, you have succeeded.
That's lame.
But I'm pretty sure you'll find the goon and the banshee first. And the demolisher, they are literally bright red.
Oh, okay.
They look sick as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
I wish they'd show a little bit more.
Yeah, the one black volatile, it's kind of like everyone's like, he's not hard to get, and then in all the videos they're just running for the life.
This is so mean, man. I just found where they have all the different textures for all the different zombies, and you can't get to it because it's all sealed away.
Yeah, because they said we need to make it dock proof.
Like, oh my god, man, I could make so many damn mods if I could just get access to the damn textures and all that good stuff. It's not fair.
Petition them.
Yeah. Hey, guys, you know how I've already modified the hell out of your game? Can you guys give me your source textures and all that? Also, while you're at it, can you just lend me your development team? Just real quick, I need to just borrow your development team. Briefly.
We can do so much.
Briefly, not too long. So somewhere it's loading it in, and then I mean, I guess you could always like go in here and replace them, but that really kind of ruins the whole point.
Yeah, of the immersion. I do say like finding them randomly would be sick. Like the goon, the demolisher, the spitter, everything with fire and red looks amazing.
Let's see. They do have prefabs. This is characters, zombie models. Is this where they're doing it? Oh. Oh, maybe this is where they're doing it. If they're doing it here, then that's... No, this gotta be like a prefab that they were using to go and like walk down a row. This is literally where all of them are like offset just very slightly from each other. This has to be where they were going and like examining each one to confirm that it was like ready to be shipped.
Oh, you found their testing phase.
Yeah, this has to be like their little tester, which would be interesting if you could just spawn this like a million times. Just like spawn their little tester code all over the place. Like, we found your code.
Yeah, wonder what it does.
Because they've got this idea of like, yeah, so here's like, it's just a collection of like each one, but I wonder if this is like, because this is the atlas, I wonder if this is literally where they're actually setting some of this. So let's go over here and say extracted prefabs, characters. Yeah, here they all are. We say zombie models. So then we say prefabs, characters. I don't think this is gonna work, but
Hey, you don't know. You could get lucky.
but I feel like the way this is set up, the only way this would work is by replacing, because it's literally assigning them an ID, and if you don't have access to like their ID system, now I mean that being said, it's just integrate or it's just well, only certain ones have identifiers, but only certain ones have identifiers. Interesting. Okay, so just a test. If we go in here really quick and we say Boy child. And then this is the one cocked over, right?
And this is a zombie, or are these the regular NPC childs?
This is zombies. I'm just replacing them with children real quick. Just a test.
Dawn of the Kids, I see.
Exactly. It's like, if you ever thought it was before, people were saying that they were annoyed because children were missing from the game. I actually had an idea a while back of maybe I could fix that. Put some creepy ass children in here. All right, so that's like eight of the male models replaced for the zombies. So if I load this up
and it works, then yeah, you just gotta replace.
Well, if this loads up and it works, then it tells me that I can go and potentially I can add on to these identifiers potentially and make it expand the list of spawnable characters for that class. But I don't know. It's kind of like I said, I don't know if this is going to work. All the prefab data that I've seen doesn't actually work.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate mainly because it's the most code that you can find. So there's
they did it just for you.
There's tons of it, but it doesn't work.
They did it just so it's like Doc will find this. He'll be like, yes, I found the Holy Grail.
I found all the solutions. We can fix everything. The game is about to be so awesome, and then none of it.
They should do that just for you. If any of them ever watch your videos, be like, you get to a point and just opens a screen that says Techland.
I'll probably I'll be upset about it for a week. I'll walk away. I'll stare at lots of sunrises, and then I'll come back. I mean, I'll be back. Let's see. Let me reset the spawn code.
Like I have the Night Hunter in the background. I will find one day how to get that model.
Let's see. Reset the spawn code.
I don't see any children.
No, they all are. All the grown-ass men zombies. No children. Let me see if I at least can spot if certain ones are missing or something. No, there's the dumb guy with the hat and all that. They're all here. That's unaccounted for. Alright, well. I'll have to keep looking at it and see if there's some other way. Because again, I don't want to replace the code. I want to extend onto the code.
Yeah.
So there's got to be... Yeah, see, here's where they literally are spawning the text above the characters that says biters. This is literally where they were just doing model testing. Interesting. All right, I think with that, I'm probably going to jump off for the night.
Totally fine.
Try to get my beauty rest before I have to go in and tackle the daily challenges of my work.
Mm-hmm.
But
and by that you mean trying to do your work, and then everyone so this is the issue I'm having with your mod today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is all the channels are pretty quiet right now. I mean, someone posted a dancing crab earlier, and that's that was good. And
listen, Patreon ideas. Instead of zombies, dancing crabs.
Exactly. All right, man. I'm gonna get some sleep. Talk to you later.
Yep. Peace.